I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 and the Dakota Nation's territory and traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. I'll introduce the panel members first. I'm Marcel Larondo. I'll be chairing. Kent Seelan is our member to the far left. Gisela Rempel is next to me. The assessor today will be Jennifer Nichols, and our secretary is Belen Rojo. To the participants of the hearing, please note, you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the city's Winnipeg Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearings in process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We'll be hearing applications for revision of assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Act. The matters for which revisions is requested have been described in each application and will limit discussions to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matter must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of property are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to an application of exemption from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. And I'm the biggest one here. Everybody can please shut off their phones. Heard mine binging already. Sorry about that. The biggest offender. I need this. Three fives. We're going to start with the first file, and it'll be for 123 Boulevard, Sunnyside. We'll start with you, Jennifer. If you want to make your presentation.
I just have to
I'm sorry, you got to swear everybody in first. I'm one step ahead here.
Madame Assessor, please state your full name.
Jennifer Nichols.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Madame Applicant, please state your full name.
Françoise Genuy.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Can you say that again?
You affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Oh, yes, I do.
Verité.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
Jennifer, you're up.
Okay, thank you. So 123 Sunnyside Boulevard, roll number 0707031500. The This property is in Woodhaven. It is a one-story built in 1919. It does have an effective year built of 1929, which indicates that there have been some, level of renovations done along the way. That is not completely original to 1919. The living area is 1,188 square feet, has a full basement, which is finished, one full bathroom, one half bathroom, and a multiple car detached garage. The lot area for this property is just over 8,000 square feet, and the current 2022 assessment value is $282,000. So the comparables that I brought today are all in the same neighborhood. They're all in Woodhaven, all one-story properties. Comparable number one was built in 1920, and it has an effective year build of 1950. So this property is more renovated than the subject property. It is the same size, 1,188 square feet, full finished basement, and a single detached garage as opposed to the multiple the subject property has. The lot size is slightly smaller, 7,851 square feet, and the time adjusted sale price for comparable number one was $293,600. Comparable number two is on the same street as the subject, Sunnyside Boulevard. Was built in 1950, so it is newer than the subject. The effective year built of 1957, I guess, just kind of shows minimal things have been done to upgrade this property. It is slightly larger than the subject, 1,380 square feet, has a full part area basement, which is finished, and a single detached garage for this property as well. Lot area, again, is slightly smaller, 7,487 square feet, and this property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $308,700. Comparable number three is also in Sunnyside Boulevard. This property was built in 1920. Again, has a minimal effective age, showing that not many renovations have been done at this property. It's smaller than the subject, 930 square feet, full basement, which is finished, and again, a single detached garage as opposed to the multiple detached that the subject has. So the lot area on this one is almost identical to the subject, 8,000 square feet, and this property sold for $233,900. So where comparable one had more renovations than the subject, comparable number three has old, like the old original hardwood floors, old kitchen and bathroom. So really not any upgrades or renovations have been done to this property, which I think is reflected in the lower sale price there. Comparable number four, the last comparable, built in 1920. Again, minimal upgrades on this property. The MLS listing stated that this property needs TLC, so this one was probably the least renovated of any of the comparables. 962 square feet, so again, it's smaller than the subject. The basement is not finished compared to the subject, which has a finished basement, and this property also does not have a garage. So this property sold for time adjusted sale price of $210,400. So definitely the lowest sale price of the comparables, but again, no finished basement, no garage, and the least renovated. So I think looking at the range of comparables, the subject property at $282,000 falls within the range. It's definitely assessed lower than the sale price, indicating that more renovations for comparable one, but it is higher than the sale prices that are indicating fewer renovations. So for that reason, I do feel that the assessment is reasonable. Thank you.
François, des questions?
Aujourd'hui, j'ai pas beaucoup de questions. Je pense que Jennifer a fait en fait un beau travail. C'est un beau travail parce que j'ai eu l'occasion depuis j'ai eu l'occasion. Is that okay if I keep talking in French?
Oui, c'est correct.
Ok, merci. Donc, oui, je pense que Jennifer a finalement fait un beau travail parce que j'ai eu récemment l'occasion de revoir un peu ce qu'il y avait sur le marché. Et mes recherches sont basées sur les sites web de realtors. Donc,
Si vous n'avez pas de questions, je pense qu'on va voir si on a des questions pour Jennifer.
okay, la seule question, c'est que je veux tenir compte que cette maison, elle a été construite, les fondations datent de 1919. Donc, c'est quand même basé sur les fondations sont vraiment très anciennes. Et j'aimerais savoir en fait quelle est comment sont basées en fait l'augmentation de la taxe. Est-ce que c'est par rapport à est-ce que le terrain a des conséquences sur l'augmentation de la taxe?
Jennifer?
The land. So the taxes are based on a portion of the assessed value, and the assessed value is the complete market value. So just in total, what the property would sell for, including the land and the building that's on the property, and any other structures like garages and whatnot. So yeah, the taxes are determined based on a portion of the assessment, and then that portioned assessment is multiplied by the mill rate that is set by City Council, and actually on the city's tax bills right now are also the mill rates for the school division that you live in. So that's kind of part of your total tax bill right now. Does that answer your question?
Well, I think you might have missed part one of her question about the foundation. She was wondering if the foundation, because it was built from the existing and it hasn't been proved, if it has any showing on the value.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so your property is built in 1919. And so that the model would take the age of the building into account, but as well, it also takes in any renovations that have been done to the property. So like, for example, comparables, the comparable properties that I brought, comparables 1, 3, and 4, are all built around that time. They're built in 1920. So they would have a similar, foundations, similar age of foundation.
Okay.
Okay. Gisela, any questions?
Yes, I'm wondering, there's no central air in this home, I understand, whereas some
Right.
of your comparables, 3 of your comparables have central air.
Yeah.
And what kind of an impact would that have, Jennifer, on the assessed value?
It's something that would be taken into account, but it would be not a huge impact on the assessed value.
Can you tell me what you think the best comparable is to the subject property?
Well, I think that the subject property would fall somewhere between comparables 1 and 3. Our comparable 1 does have a newer kitchen, and the basement finish is newer, but it is the same size as the subject, and it was built in 1920, which is very similar to the subject. So I think overall it's a pretty good comparable. Comparable 3 is quite a bit smaller. It's 930 square feet, and it is less renovated. So I think that the subject property would fall somewhere in between those two, and probably slightly towards comparable 1, because just have to account for the increase in size compared to comparable 3.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Kent, any questions?
No, I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
Françoise, voulez-vous faire votre présentation maintenant?
J'ai pas entendu.
You want to make your presentation now?
Mais ma présentation va être assez courte. La maison, effectivement, est basée sur des fondations de 1919. Les rénovations sont des rénovations qui sont des petites mises à jour. Donc, ce sont des rénovations qui n'ont pas changé la maison. Ce sont des rénovations qui sont plus pour assurer un confort et une sécurité. Donc, des fenêtres en bois qui sont transformées en fenêtres en plexiglas. Une peinture pour rafraîchir la maison. Un nouveau garage, parce que le garage allait tomber. Donc, oui, il y a eu un nouveau garage neuf. Donc, et puis une nouvelle toiture. Enfin, voilà, c'est des ajustements comme ça. Alors, je cherche à comprendre, je cherche toujours à comprendre les conséquences de l'augmentation de la taxe. La maison n'a pas été transformée depuis 2010. Voilà. La seule chose que je veux ajouter, c'est que j'ai racheté la part de mon conjoint suite à une séparation parce que j'ai voulu rester dans cette maison. Et suite à ça, ça a été un deuxième coup qui m'a surprise en fait au niveau de la taxe parce que je n'avais pas été au courant par mon avocat ou quoi que ce soit au niveau de l'augmentation de cette taxe-là. Donc, c'est surtout ça, cet effet-là. Donc, je cherche à comprendre vraiment, si c'est la valeur, c'est la valeur, mais je veux comprendre l'augmentation de cette taxe foncière.
Stay tuned. We'll see if there's some questions. Jennifer, you have some questions of the appellant? No?
Sorry, no, I don't have any questions.
Kent, do you have any questions?
Yes, you said you built a new garage. What year did you build the new garage?
The garage was built in, c'est en 1900, je suis désolée, j'ai pas les documents, 2000, il y a 7 ans, des choses comme ça.
And what year did you replace the roof?
Le garage, c'est 2013, quelque chose comme ça.
Okay, and you said you replaced the roof. Was that the roof of the house?
I didn't hear, sorry.
Sorry, you said you replaced the roof. Was that the roof of the house?
The roof of the house, oui. Yes, c'était en 2010 ou 2011. A new roof, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was the cost of the roof?
Désolée, je vais prendre le document maintenant. C'est la valeur du à ce temps-là, c'était en 2010, on a payé 7 639 les deux toitures, les deux toitures. Parce que quand on est arrivé dans la maison, on a changé le toit de la toiture, le toit de la maison et le toit du garage. Donc, c'était 2 toitures qu'on a changées et la valeur, c'était 7 639 en 2010.
What was the value to build a new garage?
Le new garage, c'est 3 500. Et c'était en 2013, je confirme.
Thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Gisela?
Yes, you mentioned that the foundation of your house was quite old. I'm wondering, have you had any problems with the foundation? You didn't mention anything about that.
Ben, c'est toujours la maison shift. Il y a toujours un travail de la maison au niveau de la structure. Donc, il y a toujours des cracks, il y a toujours des portes qui ne s'ouvrent pas bien ou qui ne ferment pas bien selon le temps de l'année. Et puis là, récemment, j'ai un switch électrique qui fonctionne très mal parce qu'il est près de l'encadrure de la porte. Et ça, c'est tout nouveau et je pense que sa maison est encore en train de bouger.
Have you had any work done on the foundation at all?
Non.
No.
Ah, juste des piliers supplémentaires. Oui, il y a eu des piliers supplémentaires pour maintenir la maison, mais ça ne va pas dans les fondations, c'est juste dans le basement. Des piliers pour supporter le plancher.
Okay. And how long have you owned the house yourself?
Myself, 2020. À partir de août 2020.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all my questions.
Ok, je vous en prie.
Did you have an evaluation done on the house then, when you had your separation?
Oui.
And what was that evaluation set at then?
L'évaluation a été par la banque et c'était 330 000.
Is that the number that was sent to land titles when you closed the deal?
Je suis pas sûre de ça.
It'll be on your lawyer's papers.
Ok. Je pense que c'était. Je n'ai pas ça. Je n'ai pas ça sous la main. Je n'ai pas ce document sous la main. Mais de tête, c'était 320 000 pour le mortgage. Et puis l'assesseur de la banque a évalué la maison à 330 000.
The condition of the house today, is it fair, good, better,
Good.
good? Kitchen's been replaced or it's still, what year would the kitchen?
Non, c'est la même. C'est la même.
C'est la même? Same?
Same.
Les châssis, the windows, when were they done? Do you know?
All the windows are new.
They're all new?
New.
Okay. They were new when you bought it originally?
C'est remplacé.
Remplacé.
Oui, je les ai remplacés moi-même. Ouais.
Quand est-ce que vous avez ça? Quelle année?
Alors, pour le basement, j'ai remplacé les fenêtres en 2021. Et le reste de la maison, c'est en 2014. Donc ça, c'était avant la séparation. Ouais. Les fenêtres du upstairs, c'est en 2014. Et ce sont des fenêtres en plexiglas et c'est juste des double panels.
Now, you had an opportunity to look at the houses that the assessor brought forward. Do you think those were equivalent to your home? Are they equal to your house, these ones that she brought forward? The value?
Can you repeat, please?
Yep. On the assessor brought forward some houses as comparisons to yours. You've had an opportunity to review those. You seem to think that she had done a good job of bringing some good comparables for your property. So you think those are reasonable comparables with your property?
Yes.
So you're not challenging the value of the house. You have more concern with your taxes than the value of the house, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Because the 282 is you seem to think that's a fair value.
But it's very hard to tell because Jennifer told me the value of the house is 280. And I have this assessor from the bank valued very quickly the house on 330,000. But yeah, it's I just realized I have a big lot, but the house is not
Je le dirai en français, c'est correct.
OK. So, la maison n'est pas sensationnelle. J'ai noté que Jennifer a évalué la maison à 280 000. Et aujourd'hui, je pense que c'est correct, mais je ne sais pas comment fonctionne la taxe foncière, qui est actuellement à 3 000 $, je crois, si c'est dans mes souvenirs, là, j'ai payé 3 000 $. Et je voulais juste comprendre cette augmentation qui est 1 000 $ de plus qu'il y a l'année précédente.
Okay, so the assessment on the house must have gone up from the previous assessment, correct?
Oui.
What was the previous assessment?
The previous assessment, when we buy the house in 2010, it was 220, I think. My memory. And I have, yeah, the house is very hard to keep warm, to heat, actually. C'est dur à chauffer. Enfin, c'est une maison qui demande beaucoup beaucoup d'énergie pour chauffer.
But from 2010 to 2022, that's only an $60,000 increase. Do you think that's too much of an increase in value, or seeing as the bank was at 330? It's your tax situation you don't like, but the assessment is not a problem, correct? Because we don't deal with the taxes here. We only deal with assessed value. What
Okay.
to sell for on the market. And I think you'd probably hope it was selling for about 330, not 280,000 if you sold it. So I'm just, I know
Okay.
you have an issue with tax.
OK. So, yeah. So, peut-être que mon point est différent maintenant puisque j'ai fait des recherches et que mes recherches sont similaires à celles de Jennifer. Donc, j'assiste à la réunion juste pour mon point, mais je ne conteste pas la valeur, la valeur de 280 000 que Jennifer m'a proposé.
C'est bon, c'est ça que je cherchais.
Ok, désolé.
OK. Merci beaucoup. You'll get our answer within the next couple of weeks, I suppose, or sooner.
D'accord, merci.
Oh, Debbie,
Thank you.
there
Thank
we go.
you. There's
Thank
the,
you.
Merci.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You
We
too.
always do.
you too.
Number 2. We don't need this anymore, do we? Number 3. So we're going to go to Matthew Amtrak, 539 Dieppe. Is that correct? 539 Dieppe is the next one. You want us to close it all the way down?
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now I'm really lost. There it is.
There he is.
There he is. He's on the screen now.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We
Yes.
can't.
Did you receive the assessor's brief?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can I affirm him now? Mr. Chair, may I affirm? the
You
applicant?
may affirm him, please.
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name,
Matthew James Andrushak.
and you affirm the evidence you're about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we'll start with you, Jennifer, on this one.
Okay,
You're
thank
ready.
you. So 539 Dieppe Road, roll number is 010059063000. This property is in the Eric Coy neighborhood. It is a 2-story built in 2011, 1,972 square feet of living area, a full basement, which is finished, 1 full bathroom, 2 half bathrooms, and a shower, air conditioning, and an attached garage. And the lot area for this property is just under 6,000 square feet, so 5,996 square feet. And it does have a school land influence. The current 2022 assessment value is $551,000, which ends up being just over $279 per square foot. So for this property, I was looking for properties that were built around the same time as the subject, so other infill properties. There really were not a lot available. So nothing comparable in the subject area. So I did go outside of the subject area for comparables 1 and 2 to neighboring areas, just to find some comparables that are also infill properties. So comparable number 1 was built in 2012. It is just over 2,000 square feet, so pretty similar to the subject, slightly larger. Full basement, which is finished, and same multiple attached garage. The lot area for this property is larger, just over 11,000 square feet. And this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $583,700 or $290.69 per square foot. Comparable number 2, again, is also an infill, but in a neighboring area. This property is a 2-story built in 2005. So it is older than the subject by 6 years, 1,715 square feet. So it is also smaller than the subject property. Full basement, which is finished. attached multiple car garage. The lot area on this property is more similar to the subject, just over 5,000 square feet. So it's a little bit smaller. And this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $516,600 or $301.22 per square foot. Comparable number 3 is in the subject neighborhood, but it is an older property. So this is a 2-story built in 1986. It has had some renovations, which brought the effective year built to 1996. This property is this house is 2,190 square feet with a full part area and a finished basement. This property also has a multiple attached garage, and it does have a pool as well. The assessed lot value is 10,616 square feet, so it is a larger lot than the subject property. And this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $616,200 or $281.37 per square foot. And the final comparable is also in the subject neighborhood, a 2-story. This is the oldest property built in 1968, but it does have an effective year built of 1998. So it has had quite a few renovations, just over 2,000 square feet, 2,035 square feet. So similar in square footage to the subject. It does have a full basement, but the basement is not finished. And this property has an attached garage as well as a single detached garage. The lot area on this property is just over 19,000 square feet. So again, it has quite a bit larger of a lot than the subject property. And this property sold for $532,500 or $261.67 per square foot. So I think looking at the comparables, the first two, which are infill properties in adjacent neighborhoods, and then the last two, which are older properties with some degree of renovation in the subject area. I think the value of these properties, as shown by their time adjusted sale prices, show that the assessment of $551,000 is a reasonable assessment considering the sales. Thank you.
Matthew, do you have any questions of the assessor?
No questions. No.
Okay. Gisela, any questions of the assessor?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Kent?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's move on to your presentation then.
Actually, I may.
Oh, one second. Now
I'm
we got a
sorry.
question. Gisela, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, Jennifer, you indicated that the subject property is next to a school. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering what kind of an influence that would have on the assessed value, because none of the other properties are near a school or any other facilities such as a school that I can see.
Right. I can't say what exactly the model allocates for a school. I think it kind of depends on who's looking to buy. Someone with small children probably wants to be close to a school. Maybe an older couple wouldn't, I'm not sure. So I think it's probably something that is not a huge impact on the value either way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Your presentation, Matthew?
Yeah. So we purchased the house for $492,500, I believe. So the assessed value was 555 or
I'm sorry if I could just interrupt. That was actually a post-reference sale from 2021. So I would ask that would not be considered with regards to the assessed value.
Speak about the condition of the house more than the sale of the house.
Condition of house. Okay, house was built in 11, was it now? I don't have the documents in front of me because they were all supplied to you, I believe. I'm going off of my comparables that I was sent over this weekend. Do you want me to start with those, or do you want me to go over the actual house itself?
Go ahead, go over your comparables first. It's your,
So all these houses were sold within the last, since January of this year, 2021. They're all 2-story.
you
They're
should be
all-
looking at homes that were sold 2018, April 1st. Is that not correct, Jennifer?
Yes, sorry, April 1st of 2018 is our reference date. So we
Those are
know
the
look at sales.
You'll notice Jennifer's comparables were all prior to
Right.
April 1st, 2018.
Right. So I wasn't asked to bring comparables within all of our emails, but we have provided comparables that were sold from January this year, and the 2000 listed as the 2018 assessed values. So I have the 2000 assessed values for the 5 properties, and then I actually have the sold values of the properties in the last since January this year.
But we
And
don't
these are-
want the assessed values. We want the market values for those years.
Well, I can give you the sold. These are the assessed values from the city of Winnipeg.
Right, that's what
And
we
then-
don't. They
okay.
could be wrong.
Okay, yes, they could be wrong. I believe they are wrong, and then I have the sold values of the houses.
Okay, but we're looking for homes that were sold prior to 2018, April 1st.
How would that person go ahead and get that?
The city has it on their website, I do believe. Am I correct, Jennifer?
Yes, on the City of Winnipeg website, on the website, there are sales books listed for each area, each market region of the city. So you would just click on your market region and it has the sales up to April 1st of 2018.
Okay. So forgive me, I just went on I'm looking at my tax assessment
Yeah,
now and going forward, thinking that has more impact. I'm more concerned on going forward than going backwards, of course, as I'm paying for my taxes going forwards. And that's why we did the research on, what sold within the last several months and what the assessed value are, where there is a large discrepancy.
give me your brief. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay. These are all in the Charleswood area. 23 Vanscoy Road. It is a 2-story, 1,880 square foot house, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 half bath, built 1971, sold for $523,000. Assessed value, 2018 taxes, $401,000. Now 11 Avril Lane, 5 bedroom, 3 full bath, 1 half bath, 1984, 2,020 square feet, sold for $500,000. 2018 taxes, assessed value $443,000. 618 Charleswood Road, 3 bedroom, 2 full baths, 1984, 1679. This one's a little smaller. Sold for $449,500. 2018 taxes, assessed value $386,000. 67 The Bridle Path, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1 half bath, 1981, 2,026 square feet, sold for $525,000. Taxes, assessed value $419,000. And then the last one here is 743 Buckingham Road, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 1969, 2,010 square feet, 2018 taxes, $460,000, sold for $530,000. That's what I have for our comparables in the area. I did not receive any information that we were supposed to look for the comparables going back to 2018 and what they sold for at that time. All the information that we were sent, I believe, is in front of you. So that's how we provided it. My apologies.
Do they not receive that when they apply for this?
Not to bring a comparable from 2018 of what was sold. That was never in any form of email documentation asking for that information.
It is outlined on page 3 of the hearing notice.
It's on page 3, right? Page 3 of your information that you received from the clerk's office.
Page 3. Sorry, I forgive me. My wife has given me all the information. I do not have that in front of me.
That's where it was explained about the April 1st, 2018 information.
Okay. Again, I apologize. My wife's working today and she asked me to sit in on the hearing.
Okay. Do you have anything further to say before we have questions?
It's just that we're appealing that just our taxes just because we feel that we should be treated fairly, and the amount that we paid for the property to the assessed value, that there is the discrepancy there, and that's all that we're looking for is to be paying what our house is actually valued at.
Okay, we'll see if Jennifer has some questions for you first. Jennifer?
No, I don't have any questions.
Kent, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just a quick question. You have a 3-inch ditch. It's just in front of your property. Is that just for natural 3-inch?
I believe we're pretty new to the area, and I believe it is for natural drainage because Charleswood as a whole is up quite high in the water table, and I believe the whole area of Charleswood is quite high. So yeah, it is a natural drainage. I think our sewers are actually quite high in the area.
Do you have a sub pump in your house?
Yes, we do.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. That's all. Any questions?
Gisela?
I have no questions. Thank you.
So the condition of the house, has it got new windows in it?
Everything is dated from the year it was built. So no change from the year it was built.
And that was 2011, no, 2000. Built in 2011, is that correct?
Yeah.
Let's go back.
So everything is very builder grade. So it's 2011 windows that are, I would say, off the shelf. Off the shelf windows they're not higher end windows. Nothing in our house is at a higher end level. It's very entry level.
Condition of the hardy board how is it on the building itself?
Fair.
What's the condition in the kitchen?
It needs to be replaced.
For what reason? It's worn out?
It's worn out. In my opinion, that the contractor building the house cut corners, and it's just not. I mean, it's in fair condition. My opinion, it would need to be changed. It's livable.
Basement is fully finished, it says.
The exterior walls have drywall and paint. There is a bathroom that has to be renovated I'm not sure if there was a permit that was taken out for the bathroom, but parts of the bathroom were not done to code. So it's not in use.
It says you have 1 full bath and 2 half baths in the house, correct?
That's right. 1 full bath on the 2nd floor, half bath in the ensuite, and half bath on the main.
And then a shower in the basement?
There is a shower in the basement, not in use. Same condition that is, I'm not sure on how the plumbing was done, so it's not in use.
So how would you rate the basement as far as condition?
How would I rate it? Partially finished.
How's the roof on the house?
The roof is good.
Roof is good. Garage is good.
Garage is good.
You didn't talk about the appraisal again. He did that this year for you, correct?
Yes. The bank, when purchasing, they want to confirm the value of the house. They did the appraisal. We had nothing to do with it.
Okay, I've got no further questions. Thank you very much for your presentation, Matthew. That'll conclude that matter. You'll be hearing from us within a week or two.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Next property will be item number 5.
There's pictures of that former home.
Hmm?
There's pictures of
Oh.
that former home that we just,
Yeah. I went over them.
There is no one in attendance for item 5.
Are we reading it on or
That is up to you.
they didn't call?
No, there's no one on Zoom or in person.
Okay, Jennifer, you want to read it on to the record, please?
Sorry, which property is that?
Item
Number
5,
5,
742.
742 Beaverbrook.
Beaverbrook.
Okay. 742.
Were you in touch with them or?
742 Beaverbrook. Let me just check my notes for that one. Yeah, I did speak with the owner of 742 Beaverbrook.
Hmm?
I did speak with the owner of 742 Beaverbrook.
Okay. Then let's go with it.
So subject is 742 Beaverbrook Street. Roll number is 120715760000. This property is in JB Mitchell area. It's a one-story built in 1956 with an effective year built of 1976, which indicates some renovations have been done. The property is 1,254 square feet. It has a full basement, which we have listed as finished, a full bathroom and central air conditioning, a detached multiple car garage. The lot area is 5,087 square feet. And this property does have some land influences, bus route, external corner, heavy traffic, and school. So the current 2022 assessment value is $397,000 or $316.59 per square foot. So the comparables that I brought today are all in the same neighborhood as the subject, all one-story properties, all actually built in the 1950s, same as the subject. And most of the comparables have had some level of renovation as well, except for comparable number 3. So comparable number 1, in terms of the living area, is 1,290 square feet, full part area, basement, which is listed as finished, air conditioning, and a single detached garage as opposed to multiple like the subject. This property has a similar lot size, 5,099 square feet, and it does have some land influences as well, back lane and commercial, beside a commercial property. So this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $380,000 or $294.57 per square foot. Comparable number 2 has an effective year built of 1975, so similar level of renovation to the subject, 1,086 square feet. So this property is smaller than the subject property, full basement, which is finished, a single detached garage, and a larger lot, 7,394 square feet. And this property does have a rail line and school land influences. So comparable number 2 sold with a time adjusted sale price of $343,500 or $316.30 per square foot. Comparable number 3 is not showing any renovations. Effective year is the same as the actual year built, 1,265 square feet. So very similar in size to the subject, full basement, which is finished, single detached garage as opposed to multiple. Again, a larger lot, 7,266 square feet, and rail line and school land influences. Comparable number 3 sold for $368,900 or $291.62 per square foot. And the final comparable number 4, has an effective year built of 1970. So some renovations there as well. This property is smaller than the subject, 1,072 square feet, full basement, which is finished, no air conditioning listed for comparable number 4, and no detached structures, no garages. This property has a similar lot size to the subject, a little bit smaller, 4,896 square feet, and it has back lane and school land influences. So comparable number 4 sold with a time adjusted sale price of $370,800 or $345.90 per square foot. So I do think that the subject property is in line with what the comparables are showing, considering the level of renovation of this property. And so I think the assessed value of $397,000 is fair. Thank you.
Giselle, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Kent, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Let's move on to the next file, which will be file number 6575 Renfrew. Do we have someone here for that?
Yes.
Can you confirm the?
Yep. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Hi, it's Kenneth Hubert Landry.
And you affirm the evidence about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jennifer, when you are ready.
Okay. Subject property is 575 Renfrew Street, roll number 1207031400. This property is actually also in JB Mitchell neighborhood, one-story building built in 1954. It does have an effective age of 1964 and a living area of 838 square feet, full basement, which is finished, central air conditioning, and no detached structures, no garages. The lot area is 4,839 square feet, and this property does have an internal corner as well as a school land influence. The current 2022 assessment for this property is $298,000 or $355.61 per square foot. So the comparable number 1 is also located in the same area. It is in a similar condition to the subject property. So this, I do feel this is a good comparable. One story built in 1953, 850 square feet, full basement, which is finished, air conditioning, and also no detached structures. This property has similar lot size, 4,486 square feet, and it has back lane and commercial land influences. This property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $289,600 or $340.71 per square foot. Comparable number 2 is built in 1955, also a one-story. It does have an effective year build of 1965, 816 square feet, so a little smaller than the subject, full basement, which is not finished, and air conditioning and no detached structures, same as the subject. This property has a lot size of 5,498 square feet, and it sold for $272,900 as the time adjusted sale price, or $334.44 per square foot. Comparable number 3 is a one-story built in 1952, 867 square feet, so a little larger than the subject property, full basement, which is finished, no air conditioning, and a single detached garage. Lot size is 4,488 square feet. This property does have back lane and commercial adjacent land influences, and it sold with a time adjusted sale price of $292,500 or $337.37 per square foot. And the last comparable is also one story built in 1955, 772 square feet. So the smallest of the comparables and smaller than the subject, full basement, which is finished, multiple detached garage, larger lot, 7,854 square feet, does have a rail line land influence. And this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $303,300 or $392.88 per square foot. So I do think that the subject property is being assessed at a reasonable value, $298,000, based on the sale prices of the comparable properties that I was able to find. Thank you.
Kenneth, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Well, I guess I would look at the properties you've chosen, and I think they're probably better than the ones that my realtor chose because they're in the area on this side of the tracks, as they say, and and they're all in bungalows instead of some of the ones she chose were story and a half. So, but and they're in the right age group. The only thing is when you chose those 4, which is fine, I think. So if I averaged out the sale of the 4 houses you chose, the average comes out to 279,000. And you've assessed, or the city's assessed it at 200, my house at 298,000. So I don't quite get the almost $20,000 difference there.
Well, one thing to consider with the comparables, I guess, as you've already kind of mentioned, it's pretty difficult to find comparables that are identical to your own property. So, one thing to consider is, for example, comparable number 2 doesn't have a finished basement, where your property does have a finished basement. So the finished basement would add some value. So if you're looking at the sale prices and you're, thinking about kind of averaging them out, I think it would sort of, you'd want to make some adjustments for some of those differences, if you're looking at it that way. I think another thing to consider is that the assessed value is not like an exact science. So we're not looking for like, an exact number and we're going to say like, this is exactly the number kind of thing. It's more like, is it within like a reasonable range of value?
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, speaking of reasonable range of value, the house 2 doors down from me is exactly the same square footage, 838 square feet, same house, built in the same year, 54. And the city has assessed it. That's number 567 Renfrew at 279,000. And it has a garage and I don't have a garage. And its basement is finished. So that's right off the thing. And I know you go ahead.
We don't use assessed values of the other houses because they could be wrong. So use market value, which is sales of the houses April 1st, 2018.
Well, I couldn't help but point that out because the house is right beside mine and it's like, and it's big and it's more. So I had to throw that in there. So I guess that goes into my presentation. So I guess I see.
We might have some questions ahead of your presentation, Kenneth,
Sure.
if you don't mind. Gisela, do you have any questions of the assessor?
I have no questions.
Ken?
I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
We're going to lead right into your presentation, Kenneth.
So I guess what I see is we're right on the corner of 2 back lanes, and right beside one of the back lanes is a very busy school. So every morning and evening, I get, the school, there's over about 250 kids go to the school, and there's no buses that they come and parents drop off their kids constantly on and off down the back lanes. And sometimes they use my parking spot for their picking up and dropping off. Okay, so and this house had, when we moved in a year ago, it has the same kitchen and bathroom that it was built in 1954 and on the upper floor. So yes, the basement was finished at one point, but the upstairs is still the same. And we have no garage as well. So I guess that would be my presentation.
Jennifer, any questions?
Just one. So when we spoke, I think it was last week, you had indicated that you had begun renovating the kitchen and the bathroom. Is that right?
Correct.
And I can't recall, are you expecting that work to be done by the end of the year?
No, it's going to take me, I'm doing it, so it's taking me a while.
Okay, so when do you expect that will be
Oh,
finished?
I would say within a year, I guess. Yeah, about a year, hopefully. Yeah.
Okay. And no, I think that's all my questions. Thank you.
Ken?
No questions.
Gisela?
Chair?
I'm just wondering, I see that the effective year built for your house is 1964. So have there been substantial renovations prior to you purchasing the home?
I'm not sure what that effective, how is it, when it says year built 54 and the effective year built 64, what does that mean?
We're going to let Jennifer explain that to you.
So the effective year built indicates that some renovations have been done, that the house is no longer original to the year that it was built. So, so for example, for your property, I think maybe I can answer the question there. This property, although the kitchen and the bathroom have not yet been renovated, there was substantial mechanical work. Let me just double check my notes here. I think I had written down. There was, I believe it was electrical and plumbing work that was done. That was quite substantial. So that.
Oh, in the basement. Yeah, in the basement. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, so I think those are the reasons for the effective year built on this property in this case, just because that work was more substantial than might be typical.
Okay, but it wasn't done in 64. I still don't get that, why they put 64 as the effective year built when probably the renovations in the basement was, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. So, okay, well.
Yeah, no, it's not an indication of when the renovations were done. It's more trying to capture the amount of renovation that was done and sort of thinking about, was the home upgraded to a level consistent with a home built around this time kind of thing. So were the renovations done to kind of bring the home in line with a home built in the 1960s, for example? Kind of more thinking about it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
Did I ask you if you had questions or something?
You did, I just asked that
Oh, you
question.
got another one?
No, that's it for me, thank you.
Kenneth, what number were you looking for on your value? If you don't think it's worth the 298,000, what did you think it was worth? And why?
So you said that to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was thinking of the 279,000 because I averaged out the comparables that the city gave me on her list, and that's where the median is at 279, and I think that's fair considering that we have two back lanes and a lot of traffic, and that's where I come out at. And it still has the old, it's had the old kitchen and bath. I guess if I'm looking at houses in 2018, if that's where we're looking at the houses at 2018, it still had the old kitchen and the old bathroom.
Do you know what the electrical was? Did they change the wiring for a specific purpose?
Well, I think they changed to a new panel and they moved it over to the corner. So they put in a 200 amp service and moved it over. So that was about 10 years ago or so.
Well, they said it was substantial, so did they change the knob and tube in it? With 19.
No, there was no, it's built in the 50s, so there's no knob and tube. They changed it they moved the panel, made it 200 amp, and they added, they put in a new furnace. So that was a substantial part, I guess, and put in a mast instead of the wiring going down underneath the eaves. So it was moved over, it was moved as well into the corner of the basement. So that's okay.
What year was that furnace put in?
I'd have to go over and look at it. I guess I'm not sure. I don't have it's on the permit. Maybe maybe Jennifer has access to that. I don't have the permit website, but it was over 10 years. It was around 10 years ago.
So is it a high efficiency, an 86 efficiency? Efficiency, what type of furnace?
It's an electric furnace, so it doesn't need a chimney, so it's pretty high efficiency, I guess. It's not, I don't know how they rate electric furnaces in the high efficiency or as compared to gas, but
that's why they would have brought the 220 in to keep the cost down on the operation of it.
The 200 amps, well, supposedly actually electric is more expensive than gas right now to heat heat, I think.
Yeah, it's still more expensive, but they need the 220 to be able to bring the value down on what it's costing you to heat it. Okay, that makes sense there. There was something else. Mechanical would have been the wiring would have been that.
Well, the wiring wasn't changed, all of it. It's still the old wiring, but it's
except for the furnace. Correct?
Pardon?
Except for the furnace. They had new wiring run for the furnace.
Yeah.
And school, just double checking all of my questions I wanted to ask. You covered off most of my other stuff. Okay, thank you very much. You'll be hearing from us within a week or two.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next property up will be file number 7, which will be 778 Beaverbrook. Do we have him? Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
If you could.
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Kyle Hutchinson.
And you affirm the evidence about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Okay. 778 Beaverbrook Street. Roll number is 1207164300. This property is in the neighborhood of Mathers, one-story building built in 1956. It does have an effective year built of 1986. It has been quite extensively renovated. Living area of 1,100 square feet, full basement, which is finished, 1 full bath, 1 half bath, and a shower, air conditioning, and a single detached garage. The lot area is 6,119 square feet, and it does have a land influence of commercial adjacent. So the current 2021 assessment value is $400,000 or $363.64 per square foot. So all of the comparables I brought today are in the same neighborhood as a subject property. All are one-story properties. Comparable number 1 was built in 1957 with an effective year built of 1997. So that's similar to the subject in terms of renovation. 1,156 square feet with a full basement, which is finished. This property has a multiple detached garage as opposed to the single. The lot size is 6,468 square feet, so just a little bit larger, and it does have the same commercial adjacent land influence. And the time adjusted sale price for comparable number 1 was $455,500 or $394.03 per square foot. Comparable number 2 is a one-story built in 1958 with an effective year built of 1980. So this property is also nicely renovated, although I would say inferior to the subject. This property has a living area of 1,069 square feet, so a little bit smaller than the subject, full basement, which is finished, single detached garage, and a lot area, which is smaller than the subject, 4,950 square feet. And comparable number 2 sold for $331,600 or $310.20 per square foot. I think that the lower sale price here is mostly related to, well, partially maybe the size, but also just that the renovations aren't quite as nice as what is seen in the subject property. Comparable number 3 is built in 1958 with an effective year built of 1983. So again, this property has had some renovations, but not the same as the subject property. This property is also a little bit smaller, 1,036 square feet. This is actually the smallest comparable that I brought today. Full basement, which is finished, single detached garage. This property has a lot size of 4,590 square feet, so smaller than the subject, but it does have a park land influence. And this property sold for $381,900 or $368.63 per square foot. And the last comparable is built in 1958 with an effective year built of 1978. This property is quite renovated, probably somewhat similar to the subject. Full basement, which is finished. Sorry, I'm not sure if I went over the size. It's 1,156 square feet of living area, so it's just a little bit larger than the subject. Multiple detached garage, a lot area which is smaller than the subject's, 4,891 square feet. And this property sold with a time adjusted sale price of $417,600 or $361.25 per square foot. So I think considering the level of renovation of the subject in comparison with the renovations that the comparable properties have had, I do think that the assessed value of $400,000 is fair and reasonable for the property. Thank you.
Questions? Mr. Hutchison?
I don't have any questions, but I just have some comments to add. Just in regards to the listings of those 4 properties. I just wanted to, because I wanted to outline some of the renovations that were done, and it'll all tie into my presentation.
And I think we'll put that with the presentation if that's all
Okay,
right.
perfect. Thank you.
Kent, do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions, Mr. Chair.
Gisela?
No questions, thank you.
And let's get on with your presentation then, Kent.
Perfect. I guess I'll just start off with those 4 properties. 720 Lanark it looked to be the highest. And we just noted in the description, it had designer maple cabinets. The master had built-in closets and drawers for the closets. There was a basement built in, so it was very nicely done. They had a complete rewiring, double detached garage, sidewalks and the landscaping were redone. And then they also had spotlights in the living room. So, and then for 791 Renfrew, they had the entertainment unit, the built-ins, and then the fireplace. They have one in our property, they don't. And then they have wood cabinets that were all redone. The Centennial House, it has a fireplace as well, and wood cabinets. The soffits, fascia, and eaves were all redone. They had a newer furnace and custom woodwork. And then the 946 Beaverbrook, they had the plumbing replaced. It's bigger, it's a newer house, new shingles. fascia, soffits, new maple cabinets, and all new electrical. So those are items outlined in the Realtor listings. Now, in regards to our property, the Realtor listing and the pictures are actually, the pictures look quite phenomenal. And the listing actually has a few things in there that look nice. However, in further inspection, we found after living in the house that some of those items were actually misrepresented by the seller, and also like such as the shingles were listed on the listing that were done, but they actually weren't. The furnace, he said he didn't know when it was done, but it said it was on the listing. And the electrical, now that was a sticking point because the electrical was actually only done in the basement, and on the main floor they didn't really do any. I think they only installed in the kitchen, and they only grounded one of the outlets that they installed in the kitchen. So in further inspection of that, we actually have electrical quotes upwards to about $8,000 that we actually have to redo the rewiring in the main floor to code, and then also open up the walls, and also including opening up the basement ceiling for that. So the basement was renovated. However, we will have to tear it up a little bit. So there is still work to be done on this house. The attic as well. It was rated as R15, and it's not to code, so they have to. We were given an installation quote. Actually, we did provide some documents. However, we provided 2 electrical quotes when instead we should have provided 1 electrical quote and 1 installation quote. Yeah, the installation quote that we did send after, it was yesterday, it was about $8,694.
Yeah, we've
So also the concrete quote as well. There's some significant work. We purchased the house in wintertime, and it was under the snow. There's significant issues with the concrete pad driveway. It's about 1 foot above the back lanes. So it actually, if you drive your car up, it could actually scrape the bottom of your car if you and potentially damage the vehicle. So we have about a quote for about 16 grand for the whole concrete, and the garage also wasn't touched at all. So it's a single detached garage, and it requires work, and we also had to do upgrades to the low grade as well. So I just wanted to. Oh, sorry. The upgrades in the house. So like the kitchen cabinets are all IKEA, and the plumbing that was done was just done in the basement. There wasn't plumbing done in the bathroom. The main floor was just really painted. I'm actually going to continue going on. So the venting, so the hood fan in the kitchen actually isn't connected. So we have to look at connecting that. There actually is no vent in the bathroom on the main floor. So it was actually all poor workmanship, and a lot of the doors are sticking because I guess maybe the woodwork is it's original. So yeah, looks can be very deceiving. The pictures are phenomenal. It's essentially buyer beware at this point. So let's see here. The seller did agree to return some money for the electrical because we actually had proof in verbal, like not verbal conversations, but like written proof. So we were able to go after the seller for that. But a lot of the other stuff is verbal. So we learned our lesson there. But I just want to touch on the 7 properties. I'm going to talk very briefly on them. So 615 Brock Street is the most expensive one. It's coming in at a sale value of $397,000 at a price per square foot. Sorry, the square footage was 1120 and the price per square foot is $354.46. That was against the sale price, and then the assessed value was it looks like 367. So it would be 327 per square foot. 720 Oak Street was sold for $362,500 at a square footage of 1170 square feet, and the price per square foot is 309.83. The assessed value was 348, and the price per square foot is 297 per square foot for the assessed value. The 663 Ash Street was sold for $360,000.
Do you have the dates on those sales?
Okay, yes, I do. So 615 Brock was sold in 2017.
Okay.
720 Oak was sold in 2018.
Months?
Month, it just says the year.
Okay.
And 663 Ash was square footage of 1148. It was sold in 2017 at $360,000 at a price per square foot of $313.59. The current website assesses at $352,000 at a $306 per square foot. 586 Niagara Street sold in 2016 at $364,900, 1114 square feet at a price per square foot of $327.56. The assessed value is $338,000 at a $303 price per square foot. 507 Lindsay Street, year 2015 was sold. It's sold for $327,500. It is 1175 square feet. It had 278.72 price per square foot. The assessed value is $369,000 at a $314 price per square foot. 540 Burbank, sold in 2017 at $269,000 and 1133 square feet. It had price per square foot $237.42. And it was assessed at $290,000 at 255 square feet. So 539 Burbank, year 2017 was sold. Living area is 1134 square feet, and it sold for $330,000. And it sold price per square foot $291. In conclusion, it's basically the pictures are nice, but it's a low quality work. It was misrepresented information, and it'll cost us a significant amount of money to bring it to standard of homes that the board is using for comparison. And our kitchens and baths don't have nice wood cabinetry and built-ins like the 4 listings that were used.
Jennifer, question?
Yeah, so I just wanted to confirm, so you mentioned that it's going to cost money to, I guess, do some of the repairs or upgrades that you had mentioned, but some of those costs are being covered by the vendor or the person or the company that you purchased from?
Only the electrical.
Okay, and do you have an estimate of what the total costs are, kind of everything, and how much is being covered by the project?
Just a portion of the electrical that was being covered. Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the concrete for the damage, to reduce damage of the vehicles. It has nothing to do with, rebuilding the garage. I noticed that there's a very nice double detached garage, and that land arc that would probably be upwards to $40,000 to $50,000. So I guess, yeah, in conclusion, I did want to bring in exactly like the estimates that we concluded were about $33,000. So that those are the only three things. So what we wanted to kind of hope for was a price per square foot of 315 at a $353,000 valuation. So yeah, I'm looking at maybe a 50,000 plus for everything.
Sorry, so you're looking at 50,000 to fix everything?
50,000, 60,000 to fix everything, but then that also doesn't include the a double attached garage. Like this garage is a single detached one that it came with the house, so it needs to be equal to the most expensive comparison at 720 Lanark. We'd have to demolish that garage and completely rebuild it.
So when you purchased the property, though, you saw the garage, you knew the condition of the garage.
Correct. Yeah, and we purchased the property this year during COVID times in winter, and it was a crazy market. Showings of the house were like half an hour and couldn't really go over, and bidding wars like crazy. Like the market is completely different than 2018. So.
Mm-hmm. And the concrete damage that you mentioned, or the concrete that was scraping the bottom of your car, was that in some way related to the renovations that were done, or is that just kind of wear and tear because it is an older?
Yeah, it was
property?
The original. It looked like original property where, yeah, the snow covered it. So.
Okay. And then I just did have just one other thing. So the comparables that you went over today. I'm just going to, I did look at 720 Oak. That is actually a post-reference sale that occurred at the end of 2018. So I'm just going to just kind of not include that one. But the other 6 properties that you mentioned, those sales were from before April 1st of 2018. You probably heard me going over the time adjusted sale prices. Were the sale prices that you were giving, were those the time adjusted sale prices from the City of Winnipeg sales books, or were those the actual sale prices?
The actual sale prices.
Okay.
The matrix, yeah.
Okay. So I guess would it be fair to say that the time adjusted sale prices to sort of bring those sales to April 1st would be more than likely higher than the actual sale prices, as the market is kind of increasing, generally speaking, over time?
Yeah, generally, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was all my questions.
Kent, any questions?
Yes, my question was, what was the approximate amount of the electrical the previous homeowner was going to pay for?
10,000.
10,000?
Yeah, to also contribute to repatching and the main floor, but we didn't really we couldn't really get an assessment of the amount of work that it would take to do the basement ceiling as well. It was like a rough estimate of $1,500 to paint and patch.
Thank you.
Gisela?
I have no questions. Thank you.
So what was the value again that you were looking at? 315 a square foot. What did that come out to?
About 352,800.
You were looking at for your house.
Correct.
So you want the assessed value to be at 352,000? Did I hear it right?
Instead of 400,000, correct.
Okay, leave it with us and we'll have our discussions after and you'll be hearing from us.
Thank you
for your
very much.
Thank you.
Next file up will be number 9. And it's 199 Waterloo. Is the appellant here, the applicant here?
Mr. Chair, would it be okay to request a very short break?
Sure, why don't we do that?
Can I get a sound check first? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay.
We're gonna take, might as well take 10 minutes because it takes that long to get out there. We're gonna shut down for about 5-10 minutes. Just take a break.
Okay.
You
I'll
don't
have
have,
to-
number-
I will have to put you both in the waiting room during our recess.
Okay.
you don't have number 9, you said? We'll call the meeting back to order. We're dealing with file number 9, 199 Waterloo, is that correct?
Yes.
Is everybody back?
Yes.
If you could swear in the applicant.
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Paul Como.
And you affirm the event about to present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jennifer, when you're ready.
You are muted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Okay, try again. Subject property is 199 Waterloo Street. Roll number is 1205000800. This property is in North River Heights. It is a 2-story home built in 1922 with an effective year built of 1932. Living area is 1,676 square feet. Full basement, which is finished, 1 full bathroom, 1 half bathroom, 1 shower, no air conditioning, fireplace, and a multiple car detached garage. The lot size for the property is 4,821 square feet. And the 2022 assessment value is currently $426,000 or $254.18 per square foot. So all the comparables that I brought today are also in North River Heights, all 2-story properties, and mostly built within that same, around that same time period. So the first comparable was built in 1927 with an effective year built of 1942. Living area of 1,702 square feet, full basement, which is finished, no air conditioning, same as the subject, a single attached garage, and a lot size of 4,824 square feet. So comparable number 1, based on the MLS photos, looks to be in similar condition to the subject, and it sold for a time adjusted sale price of $448,500 or $263.51 per square foot. Comparable number 2, also built in the 1920s, built in 1923 with an effective year built of 1943, 1,553 square feet of living area, full basement, which is finished, no air conditioning, and a multiple detached garage, same as the subject property. Lot size is 4,320 square feet, so just a little smaller than the subject, and it does have a back lane land influence. Comparable number 2 sold for $433,900 for the time adjusted sale price, or $279.39 per square foot. Comparable number 3 is built in 1922 with an effective year built of 1932, so that's the same as the subject. Living area 1,560 square feet. This property also looked to be in similar condition to the subject, and in fact, the kitchen may have been inferior to the subject property. Full basement, which is finished, no air conditioning, same as the subject, and a single detached garage as opposed to multiple detached garage. Lot size 4,824 square feet, very similar to the subject. And this property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $460,900 or $295.45 per square foot. And the final comparable was a two-story built in 1945 with an effective year built of 1955. Again, based on the MLS photos, this property looked to be in similar condition to the subject property. 1,684 square feet of living area, very similar in size. This property had a full part area basement, which is finished, a multiple detached car garage, lot size of 4,309 square feet. And this property has a land influence of commercial adjacent. And the time adjusted sale price for comparable number 4 was $434,400 or $257.96 per square foot. So based on the comparable sales that I was able to find, I did feel that the 2022 assessment value of $426,000 was well within reasonable and fair. Thank you.
Any questions, Paul, on the information brought by the assessor?
How can I address the assessor? Can I call you Jennifer?
Sure.
Okay. I failed to see in your list of comparables the number of bedrooms listed. Did you account for the number of bedrooms?
The number of bedrooms is not directly accounted for. It's just part of the living area for the property.
Okay, based on this ground, I contest the validity of your assessments. Number of bedrooms in a property has a huge impact on the number of properties. There are probably about 200.
Paul,
Yes.
you can do that when you make your presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the assessor at this time?
I do have one other question. My notice assessment stated that the listed, the new value of 426 is based on what my property would have sold at, if it had sold in April 2018. So I just want to make sure I understand this argument correctly. Are we saying that in April 2018, my house was worth 426,000?
So yeah, so your assessed value of $426,000 is based on the reference date of April 1st of 2018. So yeah, we're looking at sales that occurred up to that date. And
So we're
yeah,
saying that in
trying to-
2018, in April 2018, my house would have been worth $426,000.
in
In
its
its
current condition, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Kent, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
No questions.
No questions. My question is going to be, looking at the year of the house, what brought it from 22 to 32?
Let me see if I have my notes about that. Just check my notes. Okay, so I have a note about a permit from 2016 to do some work in the foundation. Okay, so I'm just going to check my other. Okay, so yeah, there was some foundation work done. Work was complete in 2017. And
What was it?
knob and tube was also removed from the home. The note doesn't say specifically what was done, just said that front foundation wall was replaced. A frost wall was installed, I guess, yeah. And then the wood landing had to be replaced as well after that, I guess.
You know, for a related, what I know about this is that it was done exclusively on the front wall of the house.
Yeah, that was what my notice said as well.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to review the previous sale back in 2013? 2013 and see what condition the house was in, or you didn't?
I didn't look at the 2013 sale.
Okay. Did you look at any sale on the house?
Sorry, you're asking if I looked at
Sales
the
on the house?
most current sale?
Yeah.
Like the photos from the most current sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did look at the photos.
We'll let the applicant explain that to us after. Okay, I've got no further questions. Paul, if you can give us your presentation.
May I ask how to address the person in charge of this hearing?
You can call me Chair, or you can call me Marcel. I don't really care.
Okay.
They all work.
Thank you, Chair. So the recent sell price I see as being the litmus test of the value of this house. I purchased this house in September 2020 for $381,000. I contest the quote where the most probable selling price on April 2018 would have been $426,000 when I paid $381,000 for it. I targeted this house because it was sitting stagnant on the market. The real estate market in Winnipeg is very quick. It's basically operates on a 1 week cycle. I had to come in, I'm military, posted in from Ontario. I had to come in for 1 week and I couldn't afford to take a gamble and waste a week for something that may or may not pan out. So this house was stagnant on the market, and I'm going to talk to you about why it was stagnant on the market and the risks and the costs that I've assumed on the choice that I made. I am quite shocked to learn that the appraiser's assessments don't include the number of bedrooms. This is like probably the biggest deciding factor. People who buy houses generally have families. Families have X number of children. They buy a house and pay a certain price according to the number of the bedrooms. Therefore, I request that the assessor's recommendations or brief be disqualified until she can provide one that ensures it has comparables with the proper number of bedrooms. I'm waiting to hear back from my real estate agent, but just based on what I witnessed when I was shopping for the house, I estimate there's probably about 100 houses that are sold in River Heights that have 3 bedrooms, and about 100 houses per year in River Heights that are sold with 4 bedrooms. So I don't think that's an unreasonable request. Some things to note about this house: there are horizontal cracks in the foundation on the back of the house. This house shifts tremendously each season. So similar to one of the previous presenters, this house looks good in a photo because you can't see how warped it is. But I had a friend come in and kind of like refashion all of the doors because none of them closed. And now 8 months later, my doors aren't closing again. This house is moving, and I don't know what to do to remediate it. I'm working on it. More research and analysis needs to be done on my part to get a grasp of the scope of how to deal with a house that literally moves. And I will note that I had this house appraised at the time of purchase. And at that time, the appraisal included other comparables that were much closer to the sale price of my house. So the houses chosen in the appraisal were 652 Kingsway Avenue. That was appraised at $396,000. Another one was 90 Cordova Street, was appraised at $416,000, and 146 Brock Street was appraised at $390,000. So this tells me that there's obviously a lot of wiggle room or room for, I don't want to say discretion, what's the word I'm looking for? Interpretation when choosing the values of other houses, when assessing the assumed sales property. So we all know that house prices have only been going up over the last 10 years. The notice I got says that my house would have sold for $426,000 in 2018. If we make a really conservative guess that on average house prices are increasing $10,000 per year, for my house to have sold for $381,000 in September, I would have had to bought it. Read that house would have had to have exchanged hands and been sold for $361,000 in April 2018. So I argue that based on my sales price, that the value of my house in 2018 would have been no more than $361,000. And that's on a conservative guess, because you can assume that house prices on average are increasing more than only $10,000 per year. That is my arguments, Chair.
Thank you. Jennifer, any questions?
I guess first I would just like to request that the applicant's sale price not be considered, as it was a post-reference sale and wouldn't be relevant to today's hearing.
I contest that.
We'll take that as information from both of you. Agreed.
And then I also had some questions regarding the 3 properties that you listed. You mentioned appraised values for each. I just wanted to clarify, was that the assessment value off the City of Winnipeg's website, or were those sale prices?
No, this is on the appraisal report that I had made by a company called Mackenzie and Associates Appraisers.
Oh, okay. So it's off an appraisal from your bank when you purchased the property?
An independent appraiser.
Okay, so those all would have been post-reference sale prices as well then. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. And just my last question was regarding the horizontal cracks that you mentioned in the foundation. Were those cracks the result of previous shifting that was already fixed by the foundation work that was done on the front wall?
No, so they're on the back wall. So the work that was done, and that's why I stated it was exclusively on the front wall, and the cracks are on the rear wall.
Okay, so this is work yet to be done then on the foundation?
Yes.
Have you had any estimates on the cost to repair the newest foundation issues?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Kent,
All my questions have been answered, Mr. Chair.
Gisela,
Mine as well, thank you.
with the foundation, the cracks in the back wall, Paul, are they running horizontal or vertical?
They're horizontal, the bad kind.
Seeing we don't have.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Quick,
sorry.
Jennifer,
Yeah, I just thought of another question. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to ask when you intended to get the rest of the foundation work done,
Soon.
like before the end of the year kind of thing, or within the next year?
Probably. I've got a lot of out-of-town taskings coming up, so I don't know if I'll get around to it before the end of the year.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll
so
have to be
maybe-
next year, though, it's kind of late. You'll never get a permit now. Pun. Where was I in my question?
About the cracks. or
Yeah, I got that already. The windows, Paul, are they all replaced on the house? Or how old are they?
They're not original windows.
Are they 10 years old? Are they 3 pane? Are they 2 pane?
They are probably 20 years old.
Okay. Heating system, is it older?
It's boiler.
Boiler, still there. Is it a new boiler or is it?
No, it's an old boiler. It's a 30-year-old
That's
boiler.
what's down there. The kitchen, did we say when the kitchen was done? Did I miss that? What year is the kitchen from?
I'm not sure. I would guess it's 15 years old.
Okay. What shape is the roof in?
It'll be need to be redone in 3 years.
Outside of the building, what condition is it in?
It's got some cracks.
And multi-garage, so that's fairly new then if it's a multi-garage. How old would the garage be?
It was built in 2018.
2018? Did they put a new pad or did they just put it on the old pad?
It was a new pad.
Okay. The electrical was done. We got that. That was all done prior. That's what brought the year up. So overall, the house, what condition would you say it was in when you bought it?
Say poor.
Poor. And what would it be in now?
The same.
The same, still poor? Okay, and you're
I didn't catch that. What
Hmm?
word? Poor. Poor.
poor.
Thank you.
Do you know how many days it's had on the market? You said
No,
it's
but I
on-
can get that information, Chair.
Do you have it right there with you or? Is it-
No, I would have to ask my agent.
I have the listing in front of me, Mr. Chair. Would you like me to answer the question?
Yeah, can you tell me how long it was on?
Yeah, it was on the market for 32 days.
32?
Mhm.
Okay,
And the listing also says the windows were done in 2013.
that's good. And I think I've got all the information I need. So the number you're looking for, Paul, was it the 381 number that I heard, or were you looking?
I would
for-
argue 361.
You were arguing for the 361. You were taking off the,
If I can argue that sale prices go up at least $10,000 per year. So
Okay.
for me to have purchased my house for $381,000 in 2020 means that I would have bought it for $361,000 or less in April 2018.
final question, how many bedrooms? Because you're the one who brought it up. How many bedrooms in the house?
So it may be, I think it's listed as 4, but the basement, one of the bedrooms is in the basement and the window is not egress.
And it's not a 4-bedroom. They can't list it as a 4.
It was listed as a 3-bedroom, actually.
3-bedroom was it listed as?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul, for your input.
Thank you for your consideration, Chair.
You have a great day.
Good
Thank
day.
you.
Thanks.
That concludes that matter. Let's move on to number 12. Number 12 is going to be 36 Paradis Bay.
There is no one in attendance for this.
No one in
property.
attendance? Were you in touch with them, Jennifer?
I left a voicemail, but I never heard back.
Okay, then let's read it on the record, please.
Okay. Subject property is 36 Paradise Bay. Roll number is 01-00465-7300. This property is in the neighborhood of South Point. It's a 1-story built in 1972, an effective year built of 1977. Just indicates some minor level renovation, living area of 2,064 square feet, a full basement, which is finished, 1 full bathroom, 2 half bathrooms, 2 showers, no air conditioning, an attached multiple car garage, and an in-ground pool. This property has a lot size of 19,609 square feet. And it has a land influence of heavy traffic. So the 2022 assessment value is currently $516,000 or $250 per square foot. So all of the comparables that I brought are in South Boyne, the same neighborhood as the subject. All are 1-stories, all are built around the same time, 1960s or 1970s. So comparable number 1 was built in 1971, 2,595 square feet. So it is larger than the subject, has a full basement, which is finished, multiple car garage, no pool, has a lot size of 19,188 square feet, and it has the same heavy traffic influence. And this property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $533,700 or $205.66 per square foot. Comparable number 2 is again a 1-story built in 1969, 2,430 square feet, full basement, which is finished, an attached multiple car garage and no pool, 17,006 square feet lot size. And this property sold for $559,000. Comparable number 3, built in 1960, an effective year built of 1965. That's very similar to the subject. 1,841 square feet of living area, full basement, which is finished, and attached multiple car garage. And this property also has a pool, 16,500 square feet for the lot size. And this property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $519,900 or $282.40 per square foot. And the final comparable was built in 1978, 1,965 square feet, full basement, which is finished, an attached multiple car garage, no pool, lot size of 11,697 square feet. So this one has the smallest lot size. And this property sold for a time adjusted sale price of $462,900 or $235.57 per square foot. So considering the comparable properties that I was able to find, I think that the assessed value of $516,000 is reasonable for this property. Thank you.
Kent, any questions?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Gisela,
No questions, thank you.
what's the condition of the present of 36?
What's the condition of,
What is
oh,
the
of the
condition?
subject property? I'm just gonna go check the notes that I had made. Right, so the subject property did have a recent listing in MLS. Just based on the pictures, it looked like there might be some upgrades that needed to be done, but overall it looked like it was in okay shape. Just, yeah, I had made a note, just possibly some upgrades, but yeah, otherwise it seems to be in good condition.
30 Pettigrew, which is just a couple doors down, right? What
Yeah.
shape was that one in? Because it's got the same heavy traffic, same size lot,
Right, yeah. So
comparable.
yeah, so that property is fairly comparable. In fact, I think the kitchen on that property was less renovated. Like that property did a renovation in the kitchen as well as flooring, and yeah, I would have said that one was less renovated.
It was less than the first one?
Comparable number 1 was less renovated than the subject property.
Okay, by how much? Like you said, you didn't say there was a kitchen done in the first one, in the subject property.
Yeah, so the renovations that were done on the subject property are a little unconventional, but the kitchen, like it looked like some flooring had been done, and it looked like there had also been some renovations in the kitchen as well.
Looks like. So which one do you think is the best comparable out of your 4?
Out of my 4.
You got 4 comparables here, and they're ranging from 205 to 282.
Per square foot, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think comparable 1 is good, but when thinking about the price per square foot, one thing to note is that property is quite a bit larger. So you would expect the price per square foot to be less. In fact, it's like 500 square feet larger. So that's one thing to consider with that one, but I do think that is a good comparable otherwise. And I guess comparable 3 is probably also fairly similar. It's a little bit smaller than the subject, but it does have the pool and otherwise seems similar. So that's probably another good one, although it doesn't have the heavy traffic. Yeah, I think just generally speaking, the assessed value just kind of falls within a reasonable range considering the comparable sales prices.
How long was the first one? The subject house, how long was it on the market for?
It was on the market for quite some time. It was originally listed in June of 2019, and it didn't sell until December. So I guess about 6 months.
Yeah, so it took a year. How about the house on Willow Ridge number 14, Willow Ridge? So your third.
14. That one was on the market for 67 days. So 3 months as opposed to 6 months.
So a long time again.
Yeah.
Probably the shortest period would have been.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong sale for that property. Sorry, it had a next sale. That one was on the market for 18 days.
18 days.
18 days, yeah.
Okay. So do you think there's a difference when a property is on the online for that's almost a year the one was on? This one's 18 days. Do you think there's a difference in the way it's going to sell in today's market?
I
value?
think at the time that this property sold, I think that it just because, like I mentioned, the home is somewhat atypical in the kind of decoration and the way that it looks on the inside. So that would be, in my opinion, that may have contributed to sitting on the market for longer.
You're talking about the subject property.
The subject property, yeah. And because I didn't get a chance to speak with the owner, I'm not sure what all was done, if anything was changed on the inside to make it more typical, or if any other kind of renovations like that were done. I'm not sure.
I just find a large discrepancy in your properties you're bringing, because that number 3, which has a pool, which probably made it hard to sell like the subject property. The other ones probably had shorter periods on the market, did they not?
I can check. So comparable number 4 was on the market for 52 days.
Okay.
Willow Ridge, I think I already told you. And Willow Ridge sold in 18 days, I think I had said, and Paradise Bay sold in, or number 18 Paradise Bay sold in 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
That was which one? Added Z?
Yeah, comparable number 2.
So do you think that number would be higher because of the only 2 days? Do you think there was more bids on a house like that?
I have no idea how many bids they may have had. This, number comparable 2 was also not a renovated property. It was in need of renovations, same as a comparable number 1. So I think, I do think it's just possibly just the atypical kind of decorating on the inside that was the reason that, or at least part of the reason that the subject property took longer to sell. But again, because the property owner isn't here and I wasn't able to talk with him about the property, I'm just not sure if anything has been done since then to kind of upgrade the property. And
you got it. Thank you very much. We'll just give it a fair hearing. Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We have heard all the items scheduled and this hearing is now adjourned.